In tonight's headlines, Hong Kong Streetathon makes a post-pandemic comeback. Time-varying toll charges at all harbour crossings take effect from today. And pressure mounts on the Israeli government to negotiate hostage release.
The Hong Kong Streetathon was held for the first time since the pandemic. Roughly 19,000 runners took part in the event, despite the mercury plunging to 11.4 degrees Celsius in urban areas. Apart from the full marathon, a 21-kilometer half marathon and a 10-kilometer race were also included in the events for short-distance runners. The full marathon and the half marathon events started at 5 a.m. from the Eastern District Corridor near East Coast Park Precinct, with the finish line located at Sanshan Road in To Kwa Wan. In the first, the 10-kilometer race crossed the Tuen Kwan O Lam Tin Tunnel. Road closures were in effect, covering all areas throughout the entire duration of the event. Some geared up for their run, while some dressed up for fun. Many said the cold was tolerable as they warmed up once they hit the road. Others found the conditions ideal for creating a personal best record. However, this participant said he did not hit his best performance today as he is getting ready for another race next week. Janice Yu, Cable News.
Starting at 5 a.m. this morning, a time-varying toll plan was implemented at all three road harbour crossings. Under the new mechanism, the toll variation applies to private cars and motorcycles. All other vehicles, including goods vehicle, light bus, and bus, pay a flat rate of $50 for all three tunnels at all times. Taxis pay $25 for the same facility. Private cars will be charged $20 from 7:30 p.m. to 7:30 a.m., while motorcycles pay $8. The toll for private cars at the Cross Harbour Tunnel and Eastern Harbour crossings will be $40 during peak hours from Monday to Saturday, and $60 for the Western Harbour crossings. The morning rush hour from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. and the evening time slot between 5 p.m. and 7 p.m. are considered peak hours. Transitional time slots before and after peak hours will see the toll increase or decrease gradually every 2 minutes. On Sunday and general holidays, toll for private cars is set at $25 from 10:15 a.m. to 7:15 p.m. and $20 for the remainder of the day for all three crossings. An electronic display board on either side of the tunnel will alert drivers how much they will be charged for the crossing. On the first day of implementation, traffic near each tunnels were relatively smooth. This man who stays on Hong Kong's side says he might drive to other territories more often on Sunday as it is cheaper. A woman said the new arrangement will change her driving habits. She was used to driving through the Western Harbour crossings when she was in a rush, but now the tunnel might be more congested as it has become cheaper at certain times of the day. Maisie Mock, Cable News. Financial Secretary Paul Chan projected the SAR's deficit will go over $100 billion for the financial year ending in March 2024, which is double the amount anticipated earlier. He said it's possible the government will stay in the red for the following year as well. Writing on his blog, Chan said revenue inflows were low compared to the expenditure. The drop in land prices and reduction of stamp duties on stock trading and properties were contributing factors. complex geopolitical situation will slow down the pace of the city's economic growth, he added. Anti-pandemic measures have taken a toll on the SAR's fiscal reserves, and it's time for the government to control spending and activate cost-cutting measures if necessary. Economic development was one way to increase government revenue, Chan said, but that could be achieved through competitiveness and new breakthroughs, he added. The public consultation for budget proposals for 2024-25 are open. Chan said opinions presented will serve as an important reference. Chief Executive John Lee arrived at the airport this morning as he embarked on his annual duty visit to Beijing. Lee and his delegation arrived at the Diaoyutai State Guest House in Beijing at around 5 p.m. Apart from meeting President Xi Jinping, the SAR leader will brief other state officials about the city's economic, social, and political situation. Lee is accompanied by Carol Yip, director of the Chief Executive's office, and Kevin Choi, his private secretary. They will return to the city on Wednesday.
The two home-developed aircrafts, the C919 and ARJ21, departed Hong Kong today. The planes ended their visit at noon and flew back to Shanghai from Chek Lap Kok Airport. They were the center of attraction since they arrived in the city on Tuesday. The Transport and Logistics Bureau thanked the Civil Aviation Administration of China for letting the aircrafts come to Hong Kong, allowing citizens to learn about the mainland's milestone achievement in the aviation manufacturing sector. A series of activities were planned following the ceremonial water salute on Tuesday, marking the plane's arrival. Yesterday morning, the C919 passenger plane staged a flight demonstration over Victoria Harbour and Hong Kong Island. The visit of the two aircrafts inspired youngsters, enhancing their sense of national identity and aspiring them to join the aviation industry. Janice Yu, Cable News.
Protesters set up tents in Tel Aviv to put pressure on the Israeli government to secure the release of hostages held by Hamas. The killing of 3 hostages by Israeli troops has angered family members of other captives held by Hamas, and they want the Israeli government to do more to free those who remained in custody in Gaza. Meanwhile, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said the killings of 3 innocent civilians has broken the entire nation's heart. But despite the accidental killing, Israel will not let go of the military and political effort to release the remaining hostages. A senior Hamas official reiterated that no hostages will be released until the war ends, and Israel accepts the conditions laid down by Hamas. Only a complete halt to the aggression by Israel could lead to further negotiations. But there seems to be no respite from that, as Israel has continued with its relentless airstrikes on the Gaza Strip. An attack on the city of Rafah in South Gaza killed 3 people, flattening an entire neighborhood. The Israeli offensive has killed nearly 19,000 Palestinians so far, with thousands more buried under the rubble. A Vatican court has sentenced Italian Cardinal Angelo Bacciu, a former advisor to Pope Francis, to 5.5 years in jail for financial crimes. The trial centered on a London property deal that ended in huge losses for the Catholic Church. Cardinal Bacciu's lawyer said his client was innocent and would lodge an appeal. Bacciu, 75, was the most senior Vatican official ever to face such charges, and once seen as a papal contender himself.
the observatory recorded the lowest temperature so far since the onset of the winter season, a low of 11.4 degrees Celsius in urban areas and 8.1 degrees in Takuling were recorded earlier today. A winter monsoon is currently affecting southern China, and the weather is expected to remain cold throughout next week. Daytime temperatures will rise slightly in the next couple of days with fine and dry conditions.